Hey everybody, it's Mallory Smythe with Endow. I've been noticing that I do this thing lately where I'll be sitting with a friend and we'll be saying all these good things about a situation or a person, and then I always have to add in just that small negative thing. Everything will be great, and then I'll add in the but this is the problem with the situation, or this is the quirk about the person. And I've been noticing that I do this so often and wondering why I do this. And kind of what I've come to is that I don't want to seem over positive, because I think in our world today, if somebody's just purely joyful, we can see them as simple, and I don't want to be seen as simple. I want to be seen as a well-rounded woman of the world who gets it and who sees all parts of everything. When in reality, oftentimes, I'm really just casting shadows on God's blessings and on His creation. I've even wondered what would my life look like if I stopped complaining altogether. Now, there's a reality that we do need to be honest, and there is evil in the world. Bad things do happen, and if we ignore them, then we can never bring the gospel into those situations. But what would my life look like if I never talked about anything bad when I didn't have to? Who would I be? I'm wondering if you do the same thing. I'm wondering if you ever add in those small negative comments. It's so easy to fall into that. And I know that I'm not the only one who does it, because I sit with other women who do. And so as I've been reading through our study on St. Pope John Paul II's letter to women, there's a part in one of our chapters where we start to talk about complaining. And the way that it's even framed is in the context of St. Pope John Paul II calling for a new feminism. Right? We saw the first wave of feminism come through, where women were fighting for property rights and rights to go to college and rights to vote, things that would raise the level of the dignity of woman to what it should be in society. And then we get into the second and third wave feminism, where that form of feminism is actually seeking to raise the level of women at the expense of everyone else, at the expense of their children, at the expense of the family, at the expense of men. And what John Paul II is calling, he's saying, can we as women who know the Lord seek to raise the dignity of women in society in a way that raises the dignity of everyone? That one group should not rise above the rest, but that one group should rise to where the others can flourish and thrive as well. But when we look at our culture, it is so easy to just look at what's going on and complain. And so this is what our writer says. It says, complaining comes naturally to many of us. When we see something wrong, we respond by voicing our frustration. Talking about our problems isn't always a bad thing. It's how many of us process the world around us and grow in our understanding of the problems we face. But complaining, as opposed to simply processing, has its dangers. We can complain so much that problems are all we see. Our vision narrows and we miss the good that still surrounds us. Alternately, our plaints can become idle. We can let the complaining trick us into thinking we have taken action about a problem when all we've really done is grumble. It was that last part that was so powerful to me. How many times have I sat down with friends and solved the world's problems and walked away with a sense of accomplishment when all I did was talk? To answer these issues with some sort of blessing or forgiveness or action requires so much more of us. It requires us to become holy and to actually share the gospel in society. Whenever talking just requires us to talk and to share our opinions. And so this week, I'm challenging myself to look at the way that I am interacting with the world. How do I see it, and how do I need to see it? And whenever I am looking at the problems, how am I responding? Am I responding by sitting down and complaining? Or am I responding by taking some sort of action to bring the gospel into the places that need it the most? So if you want to learn more about how to develop your worldview, if you want to learn more how to see the world and interact with it as a Catholic who knows their faith, you can dive into an Endow group at www.endowgroups.org. Or you can connect with us on Facebook and Instagram at Endow Groups. Have a great week.